With a mere 36 days in power, the retooling process by President Tinubu's administration continues unabated. Nigeria's organized private sector and economic experts have commended the president for signing a full 4 executive orders as part of his bid to improve the country's business environment. The Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Power, NACCIMA, says it welcomes the intervention by the federal government on some recent tax changes it will do. Businesses are being hurt. NACCIMA President Kevin Oye believes that undue burdens are, however, relieved. No pain, no gain, as they say, Emeka.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that these things were done through executive orders. The commencement of the Finance Act has been moved to September, which I think was a wrong step taken by the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. I think he was wrongly advised, because in an economy in dire straits, you are still imposing certain heavy burdens on the people. Where exactly do you expect them to pay? But the interesting thing for me today, was something that happened today. The president set up a committee on tax reforms, headed by Taiwo Oyedele, who is a round peg in a round hole. He has his head on his neck. He understands taxation. And he's someone who, I follow him on Twitter, and the things he says resonate with a lot of people. He actually understands, like recently, when this issue of the having to pay 1,000 naira yearly for vehicle ownership, and he criticized it. He said government should not, how much is it? How much will it come to? If you say there are 12 million vehicles in Nigeria, how much will it come to? Just 12 billion naira. The cost of collection, all of those things. Does government need that body? No. Then he now said, due to the situation in the country, the government needs to halt any taxation on certain areas, on energy, food, and one other area. So I think altogether, I hope the committee will really bring out far-reaching recommendations, and that they will be implemented, because we are not just talking about taxation, we are talking also about multiple taxation. It should be, even at the Joint Tax Board, needs to really define what taxation is, and then cut away some of these taxes so that you can bring more people into the tax net. I remember when we talked about IGR, that Jide, talked about that. Okay, when you talk about IGR, is it not the money government deducts from civil servants' salaries? That how many people outside civil service are actually paying tax? So you need to bring in more people, ease the tax system, so that people will gladly, willingly want to pay taxes.
Jide, on the side, you are bound to ask, do Nigerians readily pay tax?
No, if they can find a way around it, of course they will not pay. A lot of big businesses are cutting corners, bribing government officials just to ensure that they don't pay what they should pay. Remember the big brouhaha with one of the big telcos in our country?
Yes.
Just cheating the country of billions and billions of naira, So they will not pay if you do not make the collection efficient. For me, I don't think the solution is simply to impose more taxes.
No.
If you make the collection more efficient and reduce to the barest minimum the human element, because technology helps a lot, in ensuring that people can get away with not paying tax. Bring in technology. Get more and more people captured in the tax net. There are so many people who should be paying tax that they are not paying, because the system is not foolproof. So I believe that you can actually make more money without creating, without imposing new taxation on our people, but by making the system more efficient. Lagos is one example, for example. Over the years, the IGR of Lagos has quadrupled, not because Lagos was simply coming up with new taxes every year, but because they made the collection more efficient. In the past, Lagos was collecting between 600 to 1 billion, a month. Today is in excess of 50 billion. It's not because they were simply piling taxes on people. Of course, there are even in all of this, there are still many people in Lagos who do not pay the right quantum of taxes that they should be paying. In many countries of the world, they rely heavily on taxation, and the punishment for evading tax is actually more punitive than even manslaughter in some countries. People pay as much as 50% of their income as tax.
Yeah. I've heard the story about Nigerians who have, who stream across the seas. They earn so much, but they pay so much in tax.
Yes, it's not everything you use, you must pay. Everything you make use of, you must pay, whether it's water or electricity. In our country, people still leave their lights on. They are going out, they leave their security lights on. Nobody will do that over there. You rather switch it off when you are going to work in the morning because you really don't need it at that point. So I believe that we must make the tax collection more efficient. One of the things that this government can do to help us get out of our illiquidity as a nation is to improve tax collection. I believe that FRS can do much better than it's doing. I believe that customs too can generate a lot more. A lot of the dozens of revenue generating agencies that we have in our country, if we even follow the National Assembly's constant probe of the activities, you see that these guys are really not serious.
Yeah.
They're not serious. They are not. You take so much money, you get appropriated so much money, you can't even generate up to what government gave to you, by way of your budget in the year. So they need to sit up, and executives of those agencies, of those revenue generating agencies that cannot deliver, they need to be shown the door. Because right now, we can't be relying on petrodollar alone. We've got to look at other areas. I'm happy and I'm confident that this government will eventually even create a ministry out of the information ministry. Create something like Ministry of Tourism, Entertainment, and what was it called again? Because I look at our tourism potential.
Yeah.
And our entertainment potential. We are really, there is a lot more.
We're playing catch up.
There's a lot more that we can do that we are not doing.
In terms of soft power.
Yes, so instead of simply lumping tourism, look at what the UAE is doing with tourism. Malaysia, all of them. It's only Nigeria that is allowing tourism potential to waste away. I was in Obudu the other day. In some countries of the world, Obudu or even Mambila will have become a real money spinner. But they're just there wasting
Obudu
away.
is a temperate zone.
Yes.
The temperature is different.
Throughout the year. Throughout the year is cool. Throughout the year. And it's raining even in December. That's why it's there in the far north. It's raining even in December. Late in December, it's still raining. So there is a lot that we can do to generate extra funds without necessarily imposing taxation on our people. And just as Emeka said, the immediate past government was wrong in coming up with this thing because they even went against our own tax laws. You've got to give 90 days. 90 days when you are introducing a new tax. You've got to give stakeholders that
room.
Yes, of 90 days. That's what's stipulated in the law. So what this president has done is simply to defer the takeoff. He's not saying, no, we won't do it, but he has deferred the takeoff to like September 1, for example, in line with what the law says. Our people are going through a lot. maybe by September, the economy will have improved, even if it's marginally, so that our people can take, because this shock of subsidy removal, we are still grappling with it.
Oh, yeah.
Companies are going through a lot by telling them, look, this tax has come, you have to start paying. It's not, they are not finding it funny at all. So they've given them some form of, I won't say soft landing, just a breather.
Yeah.
And they are really happy about it.
Emeka, there's no choice but go back to manufacturing, because that's the only thing that can only take us there. The last time we talked about textile factories, over 400 of them shut down. And imagine how many people the textile factories would take in if there's a breathing space, if you ask me.
I'll ask people to go and check this website, makeinindia.com. Make, not made.
Makeinindia.com.
M-A-K, makeinindia.com. Go and check. And you see how the Indian government itemized reforms, to retool the economy and turn it around. So if you are going to come and produce things in India, make in India, the government was willing, said it was willing to assist you, give you the necessary things you need to do. I think we need such a policy, making it, not just looking for foreign investors, portfolio investors, briefcase investors that will just come, put money in the stock market, and then when things are going south, they just pull out their money and run away. No, we need people who will deliberately come and make things in Nigeria. We need a not made in Nigeria, where you just bring some things from abroad, come and assemble them here and say made in. No, make in Nigeria. We should have something like that so that you can generate jobs. Even talking about this working hours, one of the things a congressman in the US proposed was that you can, if you reduce the working hours for those employed, you can use the remaining hours to create jobs for the unemployed. You can bring them in, bring even the elderly, some who are retired, bring them in. So in that way, you connect with the people, you create jobs, and then the economy will, can breathe. The people can actually have confidence in government. These things can be done. But you see, if we do not, the other day the people were talking about, that the ban on importation of vehicles through land borders had been lifted. I said it shouldn't have been lifted. What are you lifting it for? When are we going to get to the point where we are as proud as the Indians, in buying vehicles, make in Nigeria products? When are we going to get there? We'll still just be rolling in vehicles that have been used by people abroad and thrown to Nigeria.
Sometimes you cannot but wonder why we dropped the ball. Remember?
No, our taste for imported things.
Okay.
We need to really...
That's what affected Volkswagen, Peugeot, and all that.
To provide all that is needed now.
No. Let's start somewhere. At least we are doing certain things. You talked about CNG, for instance. Let's develop that sector. You talk about certain other things. The ones we are doing, let's try to do better. The ones we've not done, let's start.
Because we can.
We can. The largest economy in Africa. Come on, we should answer that name with pride.
Okay,